and welcome to another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey, and to the 9th installment of Stamp versus Stamp. Most of you already know that Stamp versus Stamp is the monthly collaboration that I do with That Dad Guy. Rob and I team up once a month to challenge each other to find new stamps and to bring some knowledge and entertainment to the world of philately. Now, before I get to this month's challenge, let me just say a couple things. Number one, there are going to be 2 videos released today. I'll release a video. That Dad Guy has released a video. We have very similar thumbnails. So please, after you finish watching my video, go check out That Dad Guy's video. Don't forget to give us both thumbs up. Leave us a comment. And if you haven't, subscribe to my channel and also subscribe to That Dad Guy's channel. And speaking of leaving a comment, let us know what you would like to see in future episodes of Stamp versus Stamp. What kind of challenge would you like to see Rob and I try to conquer? We read all the comments. We really enjoy them. We enjoy your ideas. We've used a couple of them in previous episodes. So don't be afraid to really put us to the test. As far as this month's challenge goes, here's the premise. Rob and I decided to send each other 10 postage stamps. We decided to send it the old-fashioned way through snail mail. I sent him stamps and he has sent me stamps. Now, these 10 stamps that we had to pick had to represent the other person. So I picked 10 stamps that I thought represented Rob as a person, Rob's character, what I know about him, and he did the same thing for me. And so when I receive Rob's stamps, I'll open them on camera, and then I will have to try to guess why Rob picked those stamps for me, and he will also have to try to guess why I picked the stamps that I picked for him. I think it's going to be great fun. So I have Rob stamps in this envelope. It's addressed, it's stamped, it's ready to go. So we're going to head to the post office right now. We're going to drop Rob stamps in the mail, and we're going to see if a little video magic happens, and maybe at the same time I can pick up the stamps that Rob has mailed to me. See you at the post office. All right, here we are in front of the Thorp, Wisconsin post office, and I'm about to mail Rob his stamps for this month's Stamp versus Stamp challenge. So let's go put them in the mail. All right, so here I am dropping Rob's stamps in the mail, and we're going to see if through the magic of video he can get them right away. All right, now through the magic of video, we're going to go from mailing Rob's letter to hopefully finding his letter inside my box. Let's see. There it is. All right, let's go back to the office and open it up. Well, we're back here in the office. We have mailed Rob's stamps to him, and they should be on their way. And at the same time, we were able to retrieve the stamps that Rob has sent us in my P.O. box. So I have not, this is sealed up. I have not opened it. I do not know what the stamps are. He hasn't told me what they are. I haven't told him what the stamps I sent him are. So I'm going to open them right now. We're going to look at them together, and I'm going to try to see if I can figure out why Rob chose these 10 stamps to send to me. So let's open this together right now. I'm going to use my handy dandy Excalibur letter opener. And I am now opening the envelope, just making sure I've removed everything from it. First is a postcard. Here are the stamps for the Stamp versus Stamp episode. They're in order of my video clips for you to guess Rob. All right. And then here are the stamps. So one by one, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to examine them and try to figure out why Rob chose these 10 stamps to send to me. So let's start with the first stamp, shall we?
Smokey, I'm going to send you 10 stamps. I've picked them out to represent things that I think that remind me of you. I just wanted to see if you could figure out why I picked each stamp and what its purpose is in regards to you.
Here is the first of 10 stamps that Rob has sent me. It's a really lovely stamp. The first thing I notice is that it is a 46-cent stamp. Then I notice all of the planes on the stamp. If I'm correct, this larger stamp is the Red Baron. So Rob, why did you choose this stamp for me? Well, I've got to admit, I am stumped right from the get-go, right from the very first stamp. At first, I thought, okay, 46. You chose that. You threw a little curveball. You chose my age. And then I remembered I just had a birthday. I'm not 46 anymore. I'm 47. So that was out. I don't fly planes. I fly in planes when I have to, and I enjoy it. So, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss here. So I guess I'm just going to have to let you explain why you chose this stamp for me.
I picked this 46-cent Canadian stamp that has an image of the Red Baron. It's from the Canadian International Air Show because we both love history. And this is a part of history that's kind of debatable. The Red Baron was a German pilot in the First World War. He was famously known for shooting down 80 different aircrafts. And he was following a Canadian plane, and Canadian Captain Roy Brown, was given credit for shooting him down. Now, it's been debatable since. Some say that there was an Australian pilot that shot him down, and others debate that it was Snoopy.
The second stamp that Rob sent me is this stamp. Once again, a Canadian stamp. I love this stamp. It has a bit of a cartoon feel, which I really like, which might be part of the reason that Rob chose it for me. But I'm going to go with the subject matter. It is a farm scene. There's a cow there. There is, looks like a farmhouse and all kinds of things in the background. And so, Rob, I'm going to guess that you chose this stamp for me because it represents how I grew up. I grew up in the country. I grew up raising animals, showing animals in 4-H and FFA. I still live in a rural community, and I love that kind of life. So that's my guess. That's why you picked it for me.
Okay, this video is a little bit different than the others. You can tell that because the original one got deleted. I am doing this one again for you, Smokey. It is Scott number 1850, the flowered house, cow, and church designs. You can also see it is originally part of a 4 set, but this is the stamp I picked for you because we both love snail mail, and we both have a little bit of quirkiness to us. So I thought these roadside mailbox were just ever so quirky, a little bit fun, and we like everything to do with snail mail.
Well, stamp number 3 is this colorful stamp, also from Canada. As you can see, it looks to be a children's drawing, and it shows some young astronauts floating in outer space. There's a rainbow, there's a Canadian flag, and yeah, it's a really nice stamp. So why did Rob pick this stamp for me? Well, I think it's going to go less the subject matter and more the design. I think Rob picked this stamp for me because it does show kids' illustration and artwork. It's very bright, it's colorful, it's cartoony, and it's something that I would easily have in my collection, and something that I now have in my collection, and I'm very happy to have. So yeah, I'm going to say Rob chose this stamp because it's bright, it's bold, And it's got a kid's illustration, cartoony kind of feel.
I picked this stamp, Scott number 1859. It was designed by a child called Astronauts by Anne Nardelli. And Canada Post put out a contest where children could submit things about how they saw Canada in the future, and this was one of the submissions that was turned into a postage stamp. I picked it because we're both fathers, and so the importance of children and encouraging them, and history, and you like cartoon images, so I thought all of these things really applied with this stamp.
Well, next up is this stamp, also from Canada, and it is a dinosaur, but more specifically, it is a long-necked animal. It is no secret to anyone who has watched my channel that I absolutely adore long-necked animals, whether they're giraffes, llamas, tortoises, turtles, and dinosaurs. I love everything that has a long neck. If you're like, why do you like long-necked animals? They make me laugh. Every time I see a llama, every time I see a giraffe, they just make me smile. They bring me great joy. I also really like dinosaurs. So yeah, I'm going to guess that Rob picked this stamp because of my love of dinosaurs, but more specifically, my love of long-necked animals.
Scott number 1495. That's a 43-cent Canadian stamp. I picked this stamp. I'm pretty sure you know why I picked this stamp. It's not because I think you're from the Jurassic age, or that you're a dinosaur in your thinking, or that, I don't know, you camouflage nicely with your Hawaiian shirts. No, it's because it's a long-necked animal. So that's why I've picked this. I think you guessed that one already, though. I think this is an easy one.
Well, next in the lineup is this really colorful stamp here. I've got to get my magnifying glass out. Okay, this is Winnie and Colburn, White River, 1914. So you see a man, a soldier, dressed in a soldier uniform, and he is feeding a bear. And then the stamp says the year is 1914. So Rob, why did you send me this colorful stamp of a soldier feeding a bear? Well, 1914, we are in World War I. And this man, I know because he is Lieutenant Colburn. And he is the reason that we have the beloved children's story, Winnie the Pooh, which I believe Canada was instrumental in, because I believe this gentleman was in Canada when he spotted this young bear cub, and he named him Winnie after his hometown of Winnipeg. And so that's where we get Winnie the Pooh. And then several years later, a young boy who sees Winnie, I believe the story goes, asks, I think it was his father, to create some sort of thing for him, and his father writes the beloved children's classic, Winnie the Pooh. So I'm going to guess that you chose this stamp for me, one, because of the cartoon feel of the stamp, but also my love of cartoons, and Winnie the Pooh, which is a great illustrated story, also great movies and cartoons. And plus the fact that this guy was in 1914, that's a bit of history, which I also love. So how'd I do?
This is Scott number 1618, a Canadian stamp, 45-cent value, and it shows Winnie the Pooh with Lieutenant Colburn from 1914. He was famously a Canadian military officer from the city of Winnipeg that brought a bear and had him as a pet that he called Winnie, short for Winnipeg. And he ended up going to the London Zoo, and from there he was spotted by a young Christopher Robin, and his father decided to write the famous stories about Winnie the Pooh. So I picked this stamp because you're a legendary storyteller, and this is a legendary story.
Next up, we have this nicely shaped stamp, also from Canada, and it is titled Canadian cheese, and it has pictures of Canadian cheese on it. Now, I don't want to start any kind of international conflict, but everyone knows that the best cheese produced in all the world comes from right here in Wisconsin. We produce so much cheese, award-winning cheese. In the area that I live, there are more dairy cows than there are humans, and that's a fact. And so that has got to be the reason that Rob chose this stamp for me, featuring cheese, because it is so prominent in the culture here in Wisconsin. And besides, cheese is delicious. I love cheese. I love Gouda. I love cheddar. I love all kinds of cheese. And so, yeah, I'm saying Rob picked this because I live in the cheese capital of the world.
This is Scott number 2170, and it's worth 51 cents. It's Canadian. It's a beautifully shaped stamp. It represents 4 cheeses, or 4 different types of cheeses, but I didn't pick it because it represents 4 different types of cheeses. I didn't pick it because I think you're cheesy. No, I picked it because we both love food, and I thought this was a good representation.
Next up is this lovely stamp, and it is entitled The Loyalists. You see a soldier there in the foreground. In the background, you see the Union Jack, the flag of Great Britain, and that has got to be hands down why Rob picked this stamp for me, because I love all things British. I have mentioned several times that my ancestors are from Great Britain. They came from Great Britain to the United States of America. And so I just really have an affinity for all things British. Traveling to Great Britain is #1 on my bucket list of things to do. Hopefully I'll get there very, very soon. So yeah, I've got to say that Rob had to pick this stamp because of my affinity for Great Britain.
This stamp is Scott number 1028. It is the Loyalist and British flag stamp with a value of 32 cents. I picked this because you love everything British. You are almost a loyalist in yourself. I know you have a very strong patriotic side to your own country of the United States, but this one kind of reminds me of that. The people of England that came and made their way to the United States, and when there was a civil war and they wanted to remain loyal to the British Empire, they fled north to Canada, and so we have strong loyalist ties here. And so in a way, you fled north from Oklahoma to Wisconsin, but you still have your British roots. So that's why I picked this stamp.
Well, if you're keeping count, we're up to stamp number 8 in this 10 stamp challenge between that dead guy and myself. And stamp number 8 is this beautiful nativity scene Christmas stamp issued by Canada. Well, I've got to believe that Rob picked this because I love Christmas. I have said it several times. It is my favorite of all the holidays of the year. I am like a kid at Christmas. Thankfully, my wife is just as enthusiastic about Christmas as I am. We go overboard with decorations. We go overboard with gifts. We go overboard with food. We go overboard with celebrating. It is a wonderful time of year to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And so I just love all things about Christmas. And so I'm saying that's why Rob has sent me this stamp here.
This is Scott number 698. It's a 10-cent Christmas stamp. Would have been the stamp that we used in Canada to mail letters to the United States. It's that middle value of the 3 stamps that was produced that year. And it depicts St. Jude's in London, Ontario. This is a stained glass mural of the birth of Jesus, of course. And I picked it because Christmas is your favorite holiday.
Number 9 is this really beautiful stamp from Canada. Again, it features a lake and trees and plains and hills. Just a really beautiful stamp. I even like the color of the stamp. So, Rob, why did you choose this stamp for me? Whew. Well, this one is a bit of a dome scratcher as well. I like the outdoors. I like the country. We've already mentioned that in a couple of other stamps. I'm just looking at the stamp here, holding my tongs. I've got my magnifying glass out once again, trying to look at this stamp. I'm going to have to say again that you picked this stamp because of the water. I've talked about fishing with my father and my grandfather. I've talked about being out in the country, growing up as a young man. And so, yeah, once again, I'm going to have to say that's why you picked this stamp. Although, yeah, I'm only about 40% sure that I've got it right. So we'll see. We'll see where I'm at.
This is Scott number 269 from Canada. It's a 10-cent stamp. It depicts Great Bear Lake in the Northwest Territories. And I picked it because you took a chance with your family and you left your home state. You married a woman from another state. You had a family. You went where your passion was, and you settled in a new small town for your job. And so this shows your exploring side, your adventurous side, and your ability to create a new life for yourself.
Well, we've done it. We have come to the 10th and final stamp in this month's Stamp versus Stamp Challenge between Rob and I. And let me show you the 10th stamp that Rob has sent me. It is this stamp here. Now, you're going to notice something very different about this stamp right off the bat. This stamp was not issued by Canada, but by Germany. The previous 9 stamps have all been Canadian stamps, but this one is a German stamp. And this stamp features crosses, and more specifically, the cross. So, why did Rob choose this stamp for me? Well, I think it's pretty easy to guess. The fact is that outside of YouTube and outside of Philately, I have a job. I am a pastor of a church. I've been pastoring churches for over 20 years now. And it is something that I am blessed to do, something that I feel called to do. And more importantly than the fact that I'm a pastor, when I look to the cross, it points to my faith. It points to the fact that I am a Christian. Just like everyone else, my life has had ups and downs and twists and turns. But I am rooted and I am grounded in my faith in Jesus Christ. And that is what keeps me. That is what sustains me. And it's all because of the cross. And it's all because of what is symbolized on this stamp here. And so, Rob, thank you. This stamp means a lot to me. I'm very happy to receive it. I'm very happy to add it to my collection.
This is Scott number 753. It came out in 1956. It's a German stamp, and it's really meant for remembrance of all the soldiers that died during World War II and for the Society of Care for the Military Cemeteries. Now, why did I pick this one for you, and why is it the only one that's not from Canada? I picked it because I wanted it to stand out. It's not an overly beautiful stamp. It's simplistic in its design, and it has one feature on it that stands above everything else, and that's the cross. So I picked this for you because I know that that is the one thing that holds everything together for you, is your faith. And so I wanted this stamp to be different and to be simple, because without your faith, I don't think you'd be the person that you are.
And just like that, another Stamp versus Stamp challenge has been completed. And we will close the book on this 9th edition of Stamp versus Stamp. Once again, a huge shout out to that dad guy. Rob, thank you so much for continuing to collaborate with me on these stamp versus stamp videos. They are so much fun to do. Always one of my favorite things to do during the month. And so I appreciate you sending me the stamps. I appreciate you taking the time to research them and put these videos together. I hope you had as much enjoyment from this experience as I have. Thank all of you for watching. I know it's been a longer video, but I think it's been a great video. Don't forget, hop over to that dad guy's channel, give him a thumbs up, give him a subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've got an idea for a future stamp versus stamp episode, put a comment in this video, put a comment in that dad guy's video, and we'll go over them. And just maybe next month, we'll use your suggestion. Thank you all so much for watching. And until I see you next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.